Physical intimacy carries meanings that most people overlook. When someone reaches for you with deliberate gentleness, they're doing more than seeking pleasure. They're attempting communication in a form that bypasses language entirely. This exchange reveals character, emotion, and unspoken questions about connection. Many assume these moments are purely physical, driven by routine or desire, but the reality runs deeper. Touch becomes a translator for feelings that have no words, a way to express tenderness when speech fails, and a method to test the delicate balance between vulnerability and trust. What makes it powerful is that beneath the surface, what's actually being touched is something far more fragile than skin. In a culture that discourages emotional expression, particularly for men, intimacy becomes one of the few spaces where genuine feelings can surface. Physical connection asks silent questions. Can you sense what I'm trying to say? Do you understand me beyond the physical? When your response comes through relaxed breathing, through moving closer rather than pulling away, you're giving something rare permission to be fully human. Most people misinterpret these moments as simple foreplay, a step before something else. Yet for many, this is when meaning concentrates most intensely. It's when someone feels trusted enough to explore, curious enough to learn and capable of creating something meaningful rather than mechanical. When someone slows down, tracing your body as if reading something precious, they're not just discovering what creates physical response. They're learning what allows you to open emotionally. Every reaction provides information. The catch in your breath, closed eyes, subtle movements all communicate whether you're present, whether you're comfortable, whether there's permission to deepen the connection. This feedback doesn't just create arousal, it provides reassurance and builds confidence. What's being sought isn't applause, but confirmation, not performance, but partnership. For many, using touch this way creates a unique emotional space where they feel simultaneously powerful and safe. Powerful because they're guiding someone toward pleasure. Safe because it happens through trust rather than dominance. This balance between care and confidence is where genuine intimacy begins, where self-assurance transforms from ego into empathy. This pattern appears repeatedly. People who seem emotionally closed can become completely present during these moments of connection. Mental noise stops. Performance pressure dissolves. What remains is pure attention, observation, and quiet determination to understand another person. This makes the act deeper than it appears. It's not about taking something, it's about earning the right to be let in. Here's the paradox: what looks like control is often surrender. Surrender to curiosity, to emotion, to the hope that you'll meet them halfway. What's truly wanted isn't mastery, but connection. When you lean into touch instead of tensing, when you trust enough to be unguarded, you're answering an unspoken question. Am I safe with you too? Most people notice the action but miss the intention. They feel sensation but overlook meaning. Once you understand that every touch carries a message, the entire experience transforms. You stop guessing at motives and start sensing emotions. You realize that beneath calm exteriors and practiced movements, there's someone quietly hoping to be understood, to be felt, to be allowed in. Perhaps this is what goes unmentioned. Perhaps this is why these moments matter so profoundly. For brief seconds, hands can express what voices cannot. If you pay attention, you'll hear it, not in words, but in rhythm, in patience, in the way someone learns your responses like a melody they never want to forget. When fingers find you, it's not a learned move, but a followed instinct. What unfolds combines curiosity, courage, and confession. You're not just being touched, but read. Every breath becomes a sentence. Every shift in rhythm becomes punctuation. Your body becomes a story written in real time, one that someone is trying to understand. For most, this creates rare complete focus, no distractions, no pressure to speak, just silence and sensation. It's meditation disguised as desire. What's really happening is listening through hands instead of ears. While most of life demands performance, fixing, leading, knowing answers, here there's no performance. There's exploration, no scoreboard, no competition, no finish line, just presence. The more you respond, the more is learned. It not just about pleasure, but about trust. That's the currency of intimacy. When you allow this closeness, you're giving something more valuable than access. You're giving responsibility. For someone who truly cares, that responsibility creates aliveness. There's a myth that people chase control. But the truth is, in these moments, control is the last concern. The thought isn't about power, but permission. Permission to slow down, to care, to connect. Fingers aren't demanding, they're asking. When you answer through breath and movement, that you're present to, it communicates acceptance. That acceptance is what ignites not dominance, but belonging. The beauty of this touch lies in its contradictions. It appears physical, but runs emotional. It looks simple, but contains layers. On one level, there's curiosity about what creates reaction. On another, there's quiet learning about expressing empathy without words. Emotional language isn't always taught directly, but it's learned through feedback. When you respond naturally, when your body says yes instead of your mouth, the message is received. You make me feel safe enough to open. That's when someone realizes they can be gentle without losing strength. An invisible exchange happens. Validation flows both directions. You feel desired, they feel capable. You feel understood, they feel trusted. This feedback loop maintains energy. The thought isn't about climax, but connection. Searching for delicate balance between guiding and following, leading and listening. Once that balance is found, it becomes compelling because it's not just physical response, but energy synchronizing. If you could see inside someone's mind during these moments, you'd be surprised by the quiet. There's no planning of next moves, no calculating of pleasure. The focus is on breathing rhythm, skin warmth, the shift between restraint and release. Every small change becomes a signal. It's not technical, it's emotional radar. When there's a sense of being tuned in, when attention matches response, it's one of the few times someone feels completely competent without trying to be perfect. This kind of affirmation goes deeper than praise because it doesn't come in words. It comes in instinctive reaction. It's raw and honest and can't be faked. The difference can be felt. Bodies don't lie. When your body communicates you're enough, confidence transforms into care. That's when softening happens. Pressure fades. What remains is rare presence without pretense, but something else happens beneath that calm. Vulnerability exists, even when hidden. Touch carries risk. Offering affection in such intimate ways becomes emotional exposure. It says, I hope you accept me in this form, focused and flawed, but real. When you respond with openness instead of resistance, you're not only allowing pleasure, you're protecting that vulnerability, you're communicating safety to stay soft. When someone feels safe like this, everything changes. They become more attentive, more affectionate beyond intimate moments, more confident in expressing care. It transcends physical connection. It becomes about safety for both people. Because this small act teaches something larger. Connection doesn't come from dominance. It comes from permission. Permission to be human, to feel, to explore without fear. Most people never see this dimension because society conceals it effectively. But if you look closer, you'll see it in silence, Impatience in the way fingers pause to check breathing before continuing. That pause isn't hesitation, it's respect, it's asking, am I still welcome? When the answer is yes, more is given, not to impress, but to honor. So when a hand lingers, remember, it's not merely a touch, it's trust. Someone isn't only exploring you, but revealing themselves in the only way they know how. The question that remains, never spoken aloud, is simple yet profound. If I show you this side of me, will you still let me stay? Trust is the invisible force determining whether touch feels electric or empty. When fingers trace your body, trust creates the difference between pleasure and pressure. Without it, everything feels mechanical. With it, every movement becomes meaningful. For someone in these moments of closeness, it's not about access, but acceptance. The silent question asks, do you feel safe with me? Your body, more than words, provides the answer. When you let someone touch you with openness instead of tension, you're doing something unforgettable. You're allowing them to feel useful, reliable, wanted. That combination reaches deeper than desire. Emotional safety matters universally, though it's found in different places. Some people feel it through words, affection, reassurance. Others feel it through reaction, through quiet confirmation that their effort makes a difference. When your body responds naturally, when you don't hide or pretend, it communicates you're enough. For someone taught that being enough means being strong, this is revolutionary, because here there's no need to prove anything. Just be attentive. This is why these acts become so powerful. They rewire what strength means. Power becomes about connection, not control. Pleasure becomes dialogue, not domination. Someone learns that tenderness doesn't create weakness. It creates trust. That shift, subtle as it is, it changes everything about how someone shows up beyond these moments. They become more patient, more present, more protective, not from obligation, but from gratitude, because you gave them the chance to be both strong and soft simultaneously. But let's go deeper. These moments also reflect how much you trust yourself. When you allow someone to explore your vulnerability, you're telling yourself you deserve to be understood. You're reclaiming intimacy as something mutual, not something taken. The paradox is that when someone feels safe enough to surrender, they actually become more powerful, because their openness guides, it teaches, shows what presence truly means. That's the unspoken rhythm of real connection, each person leading by listening. This rhythm is felt deeply. People might not articulate it, but they sense when energy shifts. When breath changes or muscles soften, it signals, I trust you. That signal creates desire to honor trust even more. Suddenly movements slow, focus sharpens, intent becomes deliberate. What looks like pleasure is actually reverence, because now it's not just touching a body, but protecting the trust given. This is why many remember these moments far longer than they admit. They remember the silence, the breathing, the warmth, not because it was wild, but because it was real. Something else happens, something rarely noticed. Every time gentleness is chosen, every time patience is chosen over pressure, instincts are being retrained. The world teaches rushing, chasing results, conquering it. But in intimate silence, a new rhythm is learned to wait, to listen, to adapt. That's the blueprint of emotional maturity. It built not in conversations, but in moments of wordless understanding. It's where discovery happens, that real strength isn't about taking control. It's about earning trust. This is why physical closeness becomes emotional fuel. When there's a sense of relaxation, when bodies trust timing, it gives confidence beyond intimacy too. People walk differently. Speak differently, because somewhere deep inside they carry the memory of being accepted fully. That experience becomes proof that gentleness works, that presence matters more than performance. Once that truth is internalized, it changes how love is expressed. But trust isn't automatic. It's built through attention. The way fingers slow when you need a pause, the way you guide a hand instead of pulling away, those small cues are the architecture of connection. They say, I see you trying and I trust you to keep learning. For someone, that's invaluable. It means they're not just touching, but communicating. Communication is what transforms ordinary intimacy into emotional depth. Most people underestimate the emotional intelligence required to truly listen through touch. To notice not just reactions, but resistance, to sense when to continue and when to stop. When done right, it's not just attentiveness, it's empathy. Empathy is the rarest kind of strength. It reveals everything about character. It shows that comfort isn't an obstacle to pleasure, but the path to it. So when you feel a hand move with patience, when adjustments happen to match your rhythm without being told, realize what's truly occurring. There's no improvisation. There's listening. Trust is being built in real time. That trust doesn't end when the moment does. It lingers, weaving itself into how you talk, how you look at each other, how safe you both feel to be yourselves. That's the quiet magic of it all. Because ultimately, what's truly being asked isn't, do you want me? It's, can we be this honest with each other? The answer to that question, the way your body responds, the way your energy softens, creates the blueprint for every kind of intimacy that follows. Every connection leaves an imprint. For someone, the moments when touch turns into understanding become the ones that stay longest. When fingers explore you slowly, it's not simply pleasure, it's learning. Someone is memorizing responses, decoding rhythms, capturing emotional cues they can't name but can feel. That's why what's remembered isn't the movement itself, but the atmosphere, the sound of breath, the pause before your body leans in, the calm that replaces hesitation. Those details form a private language that both of you speak without realizing it. In that language, every sigh means, I trust you. Every stillness means, I'm listening. Every soft exhale means, I'm here too. That's what makes it unforgettable. Emotions aren't always articulated in words, but they're stored in sensations. Skin warmth, breathing pace, gentleness of response. They become reference points in emotional memory. Later, when holding hands or looking across a room, minds go back there unconsciously. These moments become proof that intimacy isn't just physical contact. It's evidence of mutual faith. It says, I was allowed in and I didn't break anything fragile. That memory reinforces desire to protect, to nurture, to stay. Not from duty, but from being emotionally marked by trust. This is what most people miss. Touch, when done with attention and respect, rewires both partners. It teaches bodies to relax into safety and teaches others to listen beyond words. Each time this happens, both people grow quieter inside, less guarded, more attuned. The world outside fades. In that silence, real connection takes shape. It's not connection born from excitement. It's the kind that builds longevity, the kind that makes eye contact feel heavier, that makes small gestures carry meaning. There's also an element of anticipation that makes this language compelling. People are often told that pleasure is about climax, but in what grips is the buildup, the waiting, the tension, the reading of signals that only come when you're fully present. When someone touches you like that, they're savoring the moment before certainty. That space between knowing and wondering fuels focus. It's the same reason an artist hesitates before a final brushstroke, because completion means the end, but exploration means discovery. That's why slowing down happens. That's why listening intensifies. It's not delaying the inevitable, it's cherishing the unknown. For many, that anticipation becomes the emotional anchor that keeps them connected long after the moment ends. It's not about power. It's about partnership. It's about finding rhythm that feels like conversation where both of you speak and respond in ways words could never reach. When that balance happens, everything else, ego, pressure, expectation, disappears. What remains is awareness. Awareness is what intimacy truly is, the understanding that pleasure means nothing without presence. As strange as it sounds, these simple acts become mirrors. Through your reactions, someone sees their own depth. They realize they can be patient, gentle, enough. That realization changes them. It follows into other parts of life, how they listen, how they lead, how they love. That's the unseen ripple of trust. It doesn't end in the moment. It expands beyond it. When someone has learned to read you with their hands, they start to read the world differently, with more care, more empathy, more precision. These moments also teach something crucial about desire. It's not about taking, but understanding. When you let someone explore, and when they do it with intention instead of assumption, desire becomes communication. You're not performing for each other, you're revealing to each other. The most powerful chemistry isn't built on friction. It's built on recognition, the kind that says, I see who you are when you stop pretending. That's why this experience stays with someone. It's not the act that replays in mind. It's the emotion attached to it, the quiet pride of being trusted, the invisible relief of being accepted. That memory becomes a compass. It reminds people that real connection doesn't come from effort or technique. It comes from attention. It's how they measure whether what they have is real. So when a hand moves slowly, when lingering happens instead of rushing, understand that there's no distraction. There's an attempt to make it last. There's an attempt to memorize the feeling of being allowed to care, to please, to connect without pretense. Because deep down, what's being sought isn't just pleasure. It's proof that vulnerability can feel like strength. And that proof, once felt, it becomes impossible to forget. So next time it happens, don't think of it as routine. Think of it as dialogue, a language built in silence, spoken through trust. Because that's the truth most never see. When someone touches you like that, they're not just exploring your body, they're searching for the moment where both of you finally stop performing and start feeling. That's where the real story begins.